The following document summarizes scenario parameters. The first thing to consider is the overall assessment of the situation. We need to consider the opponent's strength and reinforcements, the position and vulnerabilities. This is the opponent's status. We need to consider the ground conditions and the terrain that are being presented. The time constraints, whether if any is going to affect the battle, and approaches. And force status and organization of your army. We also need to consider the win-loss conditions and any follow-up actions that might be necessary. Second is the sequence of events. We need to understand this and make it second nature. This regards your force status and organization, the time and approaches, and win-loss conditions. Once reinforcement arrival times and locations are determined, we need to establish the activation sequence or understand how activation is going to occur. We need to arrange force deployment, commanders, and how to issue and change orders. We need to prepare to issue written orders and mark orders for units on the game table. We need to establish reserve locations for attacking forces so that they have some kind of assistance after the assault has begun. And we need to establish these win-loss conditions, what it means for us to declare a win and what it means when we have suffered enough that we have to lose and must withdraw from the area. Force deployments is the next thing we'll talk about. This regards your force status and organization, time and approaches, the opponent status, and any follow-up actions. We need to understand the terrain and opponent positions to determine the plans. Is the map correct? And when will you know if it's not correct? Which approach is going to yield the most likely success, and upon failure, what preparations are needed? We need to understand the enemy location as well as the location of your forces and how they're disposed to begin the conflict. We also need to determine what is the best location for the assault to begin, on either of the flanks, both at the same time as a matter of fact. And if necessary, we need to hold the enemy in place. Otherwise, he'll simply reinforce the flanks as necessary. Or is an approach from the corners a better approach? Again, the enemy has to be held in place. Otherwise, he'll simply reinforce those areas that become evident that are the targets of the assault. Or is a direct frontal assault, again, the best solution? And does the scenario have any fast pursuit, which is to say cavalry potential? And then once all the preparations are concluded, it's time to start the battle.